Hey friends, this is the follow-up on my series of videos about the big farmer rebellion in Europe and larger reflections on the production of food and the farming practices and the current agenda to transition humanity to a synthetically produced diet or very heavily processed forms of food. And of course we've been engaged in that evolution for a while now. We've had extremely processed foods put on our supermarket shelves and on our tables for quite a while now, but we are seeing the next steps of that with lab-grown meats, synthetically produced meats, and 3D printed food now being introduced. And another big component of that agenda is to put humans on an insect-based diet. And of course, since many adults are going to find that repulsive, children are a primary target for that offer. So it is being pushed in schools. It is being pushed by teachers, it is being pushed by the school system. It is also being introduced in a clandestine way. You've had additives in our processed foods for many years now that are based on insects. If you don't know what all these fancy little letters and numbers mean, well, that's because or these fancy names, you know, these fancy scientific names mean, it's because they are meant to hide what is really present in the product. So in certain industrial colorants and other industrial food additives, some of them are extracted from insects. But now it's more and more. So you have insect farms, and you roast the insects and you crush them into a powder that you call a flour, insect flour, and then you mix that flour. You mix that flour into all kinds of foods. Why? Why is the emphasis being put on insects rather than other types of because the ideology now is that since we need to phase out meat because it's too polluting to produce meat for 8 billion people, we need to drastically reduce the intake of meat. So one of the ways to do that is to feast on delicious, nutritious protein-rich insects. And what's behind that? You know, what's behind that other than the openly exposed and claimed agenda to reduce the consumption of meat? Well, in order to understand, you must look at the exoskeleton of insects. That extremely tough, resilient, hard exoskeleton is primarily made of a component called chitin. Now, if you eat insects, you're going to eat chitin. And that's going to be problematic, apparently, because the human digestive system, it's not really designed to digest chitin. But what is really interesting about it is that there is an industrial application for chitin. What is that industrial application? Well, chitin is being used in the production of, ta-da, graphene oxide. Yep. You might have heard over the last few years about graphene oxide as an element that's been found in really large quantities in certain injectable products that were heavily promoted by all the aspects of the social control system over the last few years. Well, chitin is being used in industrial processes aimed at extracting graphene oxide. So if you have an entire industry that is specially dedicated to farming insects, you're going to get a lot of chitin at your disposal. And with all that chitin, it's going to be much more cost effective to produce large quantities of graphene oxide. And what is the purpose of that graphene oxide? Graphene has been selected, and you can read all about it in scientific newspapers going back many years now. Well, many years, not 100 years, but let's say that these papers were published well before Operation C-19 took place, way before. So graphene was selected as the medium by which the transhumanist project could be achieved in a really substantial way. So to be the interface, between organic biology and technology. Because graphene is extremely receptive to certain types of waves, certain electromagnetic signals. So if you can introduce the nanotech in the human body, and at the same time your body is full of graphene, well, external signals coming from, I don't know, cell phone towers maybe, are going to enable the interaction between these external signal sources, signal broadcasters, and your own body. And the nanotechnology that is in your body and that is now part of your organism. And that is what is being called the Internet of Bodies, because we have the Internet of Things when objects in our environment, like fridges and pretty much every appliance you can find in your domestic environment, have a microchip, and these microchips transform your appliances into smart devices. And smart doesn't mean clever. Smart is an acronym that means surveillance, monitoring, assessment, and I believe the R is for reporting, technology. So it's basically all about surveillance. But that is the other aspect of the eat the bugs. The eat the bugs big project. Oh, I was almost forgetting to mention, it's not just that chitin is so very helpful to extract graphene from natural sources like graphite. That is a form of carbon, by the way. No, it's not just that. It's also that I saw oh gosh, what's the word? I'm sorry. For intellectual property, what's the name of that? The patent. I saw a patent, a Chinese patent. I don't remember whether it was an application or whether the patent had already been granted, but it was a patent to feed insects from insect farms with, guess what? Graphene! So it's a kind of an absolutely amazing loop where you feed insects with graphene, you use the chitin from these insects to extract more graphene, and you feed the insects that are full of graphene to humans so that their bodies are saturated with graphene. Because let's face it, the injectable agenda, it has flopped by now. But yeah, not to worry. You can put graphene oxide in all kinds of injectables. You know, even if people don't want the injectables that were heavily promoted for 2 or 3 years now. Even if they want that, you can still put that the graphene in all kinds of injectables and all kinds of products like food, like insect flowers that you're going to try and insert as many food products as possible. So do your research, because you can find lists online. You can find lists of ingredients that are made from insects, and once you have those lists, check the packages, check the labels, and make sure that you don't have any insect-derived components in your food. Actually, I would really recommend that you only eat organic food, or food that you, if you can, that you grow yourself. Because things are so crazy at the moment in the food department that, yeah, you really need to be discerning and cautious about what you allow in your body. Take care, and I'll see you for another video soon.